Okay, so as I'm reading, I'm going to highlight and also take some notes so that you can kind of get an understanding of what I'm thinking. This is a book about outliers, about men and women who do things that are out of the ordinary. Well, that seems like a main idea. It seems like the thesis of the book. So this is a book about outliers, about men and women who do things that are out of the ordinary. Seems like a thesis to me. There might be a better thesis later, but this one seems pretty good for now. Over the course of the chapters ahead, I'm going to introduce you to one kind of outlier after another. In case you haven't already, in the pages before this, talked about what an outlier is, this is a definite keyword that you should know. Two geniuses, business tycoons. I don't really know what a tycoon is, but I don't think I need to understand it because I know what a genius, a rock star, and a software programmer is. We're going to uncover the secrets of a remarkable lawyer, look at what separates the very best pilots from pilots who have crashed planes. Well, I want to know that because I ride in planes. And try to figure out why Asians are so good at math. I just thought this was a stereotype, so that seems interesting to me. I'm going to put a little exclamation point to say, wow! And in examining the lives of the remarkable among us, the talented, the skilled, the talented, and the driven, I will argue that there is something profoundly wrong with the way we make sense of success. This seems like a really key idea to me. The idea that he's going to argue in his book, another kind of thesis area here, that there is something profoundly wrong with the way we make sense of success. And that's important to me because I want to be successful. So I want to know why my perceptions of success are not right. What is the question we always ask about the successful? We want to know what they're like, what kind of personalities they have, or how intelligent they are, or what kind of lifestyles they have, or what special talents they might have been born with. Of course, this is what I think of when I think of successful people. I think about really smart people, or people who are really good at basketball, or really good at playing guitars or singing or something like that. And we assume that it is those personal qualities that explain how that individual reached the top. 100%, right? We always think to ourselves, wow, I wish I could be like that person. In other words, I wish I could have their talents. I'm going to skip this section because I think there's some other parts that are better for an example, but if I were a student, I would of course read all of this, and I would read all of this too, but since for the example, I'm going to go here. In Outliers, I want to convince you that these kinds of personal explanations of success don't work. Wow, here's another key idea, right? He wants to convince me that these kinds of personal explanations of success don't work. So this seems like it's going to be somewhat of a persuasive type book. And who knows, maybe by the end I will agree with him. People don't rise from nothing. We do owe something to parentage and patronage. I don't know what patronage means, but I know what parentage means, so I'm going to skip this word. The people who stand before kings may look like they did it all by themselves, but in fact they are invariably the beneficiaries of hidden advantages and extraordinary opportunities and cultural legacies that allow them to learn and work hard and make sense of the world in ways others cannot. This seems like a really excellent possible quote right here, because it seems to me that this is a main idea. I'm going to put a little Q here to indicate I might be able to use this as a possible quote, right? Okay. It makes a difference where and when we grew up, the culture we belong to, and the legacies passed down by our forebears. I'm not really sure what this means, but I know what a legacy is, so maybe ancestors. I'll put a little question mark. Our forebears shape the patterns of our achievements in ways we cannot begin to imagine. It's not enough to ask what successful people are like, in other words. It is only by asking where they are from that we can unravel the logic behind who succeeds and who doesn't. And here's another possible quote that I might like to use, because this is another main idea, which is that success is not based on what we are like, but in fact where we come from. So this is his main argument. So I think that this could be possibly a quote from my paper.